Orville Flies Again. The lovely Bianca and the ever-cautious Bernard, two dedicated mice from the International Rescue Aid Society, were on a special journey back to the Swanland where they had once embarked on a daring mission. Their first great adventure had been to rescue a little girl named Penny, and now duty called them back to Devil's Bayou once more. As always, their faithful and sometimes clumsy pilot, Orville, the brave but bumbling albatross, was ferrying them across the skies. His wings flapped vigorously against the chilly evening air, the wind whistling through his feathers as he maintained altitude. "Orville," murmured Bianca, peering down at the murky waters of the bayou below. "You are losing height too soon. We don't want to make a landing on Devil's Bayou." "And no," stammered Bernard, clutching his tiny paws together anxiously, "because that is where wicked Madame Medusa has her swamp mobile." The very thought of Madame Medusa, with her wild red hair, piercing green eyes, and cruel laughter, sent a shiver down Bernard's spine. The last time they had crossed paths with the woman, she had been desperate to hold on to Penny and her prized devil's eye diamond. Though Penny had escaped to safety, Bernard didn't trust that Medusa had truly disappeared for good. "Sorry, folks," squawked Orville, his voice cracking with distress, "but flying high in this cold weather has frosted my wings. I'm losing flap power. I must touch down on Devil's Bayou Lake." Bianca gasped, gripping Bernard's paw. The icy air had indeed coated Orville's wings with frost, weighing them down, making every flap harder and harder. Orville stretched his webbed feet out in preparation for an emergency landing. Bernard squinted ahead and felt his heart lurch into his throat. "Don't hit those floating logs," cried Bianca in alarm. Then Bernard's eyes widened in horror. "Orville, those aren't floating logs. They're Nero and Brutus, Madame Medusa's pet crocodiles." Just as he finished speaking, the massive reptiles came to life, their scaly backs rising out of the water. Their eyes gleamed wickedly, and their massive jaws parted to reveal rows of jagged, yellow teeth. Orville's pupils shrank to pinpoints. GAEH. He shrieked, flapping his wings frantically. His panic shook the frost from his feathers in an instant, and just as his feet were about to touch the water, he gave an enormous spurt whoosh. The gust of his wings kicked up a spray of bayou water, sending ripples across the murky surface. Nero and Brutus, having anticipated a delicious birdie snack, lunged forward with their jaws wide open. But in their eagerness, they miscalculated crunch. The two crocodiles slammed into each other, their teeth clamping onto one another's snouts instead of the albatross. As Orville shot skyward, a few loose feathers drifted down, spiraling in the moonlight. Bernard, who had been holding his breath the entire time, finally let it out in a relieved wheeze. "That was so close," he muttered, adjusting his hat nervously. "Oh, Orville, you are a wonderful pilot," sighed Bianca, brushing a few loose feathers off her fur. "It's all part of the Albatross Air Service," chuckled Orville, his chest puffing out proudly. Bianca giggled, while Bernard wiped his brow and muttered under his breath, "Too much service, if you ask me." As Orville gained altitude again, Bianca glanced down at the dark, twisting waterways of Devil's Bayou. Even from above, the place gave her a sense of unease. There were broken wooden shacks, rotting docks, and eerie patches of mist that curled over the water like ghostly fingers. "So, remind me again why we're coming back here," Bernard asked hesitantly, his tail twitching. "The Rescue Aid Society received a distress call," Bianca explained, "from a little muskrat named Theo. He says there is still danger here, even after Madame Medusa disappeared." Bernard frowned. "I was hoping Medusa was long gone. I mean, Penny got away, and we made sure Medusa's business was finished." "Perhaps," Bianca said thoughtfully, "but if a child is in trouble, we must act." Bernard sighed. I know, that's what we do, but still, I don't like this place one bit." "Then it is a good thing we are together, my darling," Bianca said, giving his paw a reassuring squeeze. Orville flapped steadily forward, his wings now completely free of frost. "Hang tight, folks. We'll be landing near that old riverboat in about 5 minutes." Bernard paled. "Wait, riverboat? You mean the one Medusa used as her hideout?" "That's the one," Orville called over his shoulder. "According to that muskrat kid, it's still got some shady folks hanging around." Bernard groaned. "Oh, great, just great." Orville swooped lower as they neared the rickety remains of Madame Medusa's old hideout. The once grand riverboat, the steamboat Snoops, was now barely afloat, its wooden sides covered in moss and algae. A few lanterns flickered dimly on the deck, casting eerie reflections across the water. Orville landed on a half-sunken log near the riverboat, wobbling slightly as he let his passengers hop off onto the wooden planks of a rickety dock. "There you go, safe and sound," he announced cheerily. Bernard stepped onto the dock with caution, testing the planks. "I wouldn't call this safe, exactly," he muttered. Just then, a small figure darted out from the shadows. "You made it," whispered Theo, the young muskrat. His fur was muddy, and his whiskers twitched anxiously. "Oh, thank goodness. I was afraid you'd get eaten by those gators." "We nearly did," Bernard muttered. "What did you call us?" Bianca asked gently. Theo's ears flattened against his head. "Because I think Medusa's back," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Bernard nearly toppled over. "What?" Theo nodded quickly. "I saw her sneaking around here last night, and I heard her talking to someone. She kept saying something about finding the diamond again." "But the diamond is gone," Bianca exclaimed. "Penny and Rufus made sure it was given to the Smithsonian Museum." "I know," Theo said, eyes wide, "but she doesn't care. She thinks there's another one hidden in the bayou. And she's not alone, she's got someone new helping her." Bianca and Bernard exchanged nervous glances. If Medusa is back, Bernard said grimly. Then we need to stop her before she causes more trouble. Theo nodded. Then follow me. I'll show you where I saw her. With that, the little muskrat scampered off into the shadows, leading the mice deeper into the abandoned ruins of Medusa's old hideout. Orville, still perched on his log, gulped. Are you sure you don't need air support? Bianca looked back with a smile. Stay close, dear Orville. We may need a quick getaway. Orville nodded nervously. Oh boy, I've got a bad feeling about this. And with that, Bernard and Bianca disappeared into the darkness of the bayou, ready for another dangerous adventure.